I had a family member who passed away recently, distant cousin, and she was younger than me, um, due to complications, and it hurts. It hurts that I'll never be able to see her again as an adult. We saw each other as kids. You know, the rest of the family they live in Africa, so I'm in the UK. It's kind of hard to just have the time and the money to go over and see each other, but now that's something that I'll never get back, and it hurts. But being emotional is normal. You're just irrational. And the difference between you and me is that with you, you're likely to take it out on other people in your life or the acquaintances that have nothing to do with what you're going through. They don't know what you're going through behind the scenes. They're not responsible for what you're going through behind the scenes. And this could be if you're working a job, say you're going to your 9 to 5, right? It's the morning, the alarm rings off, you turn it off, you get up out of bed, get yourself ready, and then you head off out the door. You make your you travel, you make your transport all the way to your job. You get into the door, you get at the doors of the building, you get inside the building, you sit down at your desk, you start doing your work, and your boss is telling you that, oh, there's this client that has a particular type of issue that I'm going to need you to deal with, even though during this time of your shift you was dealing with you was already dealing with issues with a client and with other clients. Now you've got like an increased workload, and then you feel compelled to say, oh, like this is I can't do that. Like, this is too much for me. Like, just, kind of being like dismissive of what you're there to do, right? Which is that you're there to do work. You showed up to work. If it wasn't to do the work, then why wouldn't you just call sick? Why wouldn't you just explain to your manager, like, oh, I'm kind of going through this grieving process. I might need a day off of work, so I can sit with my thoughts. But if you're going to show up for work, even though you know what you're going through, and that it's going to be harder for you, and it's not like a normal time period in your life right now. You're processing the pain of dealing with someone who close to you has passed away, or anything of that, or anything similar or like to that. It's like, I get it, it's hard, but you got to communicate with people. That's your obligation. That's if you're working a job, you got to make sure that the people around you, specifically like your manager, and perhaps even any close colleagues, kind of know and are aware of your current situation, right? And it's going to help you ultimately. But you don't want to be seen as being weak or vulnerable. You don't think that other people can help you. And it's just not the case, because we're all human. So we all got our own trials and tribulations, but at the same time, there are a lot of similarities within each trials and tribulations that every person has, right? That you can relate to. So stop being irrational in a state of emotion, and work through the emotions to get to a point of where you're actually able to think clearly and get on with your life, and to move on and to continue to improve just as a person.